Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. Manchester United have triggered contract extensions for 4 players. That's Marcus Rashford, Luke Shaw, Diego Dalot and Fred. Man United have triggered 1-year extensions on their contracts. Now, I want to give you some more news regarding David De Gea. So, Man United are in talks to offer David De Gea a new contract. According to Laurie Whitwell from The Athletic, Man United are determined to keep De Gea on lower terms. Well, we revert back to the other day, like I updated you on. It said Man United are set to release David De Gea on a 3 transfer. Because it said Man United are unlikely to extend David De Gea's contract. De Gea is out of contract at the end of the season. There's an option of an additional year. At the moment, David De Gea earns around £375,000 a week. But David De Gea has already mentioned that he's happy to stay at Manchester United. David De Gea has endured around 11.5 years at the club. He's been with us since the Ferguson era, so he has been a long-serving player. You know, Man United got David De Gea from Atletico Madrid back in 2011. De Gea has won everything domestically at the football club, and he's made over 500 appearances for Manchester United. He's Manchester United's #1 goalkeeper. Now, I want to give you some more news on Cody Gakpo. So, Man United are determined to sign Cody Gakpo in January. Cody Gakpo is Manchester United's #1 January target. Cody Gakpo wants to join Man United and work under Erik ten Hag. The other day, he said Man United were planning a €50 million bid for Cody Gakpo once the January transfer window opens. PSV have already said they want around 40 million. That's a club record deal. So there is a good chance that Cody Gakpo will be Man United's first signing in January. There has been a lot of players on Manchester United's agenda. As you all know, Man United recently entered the race for Jude Bellingham and aimed to beat Liverpool and Man City for the England star. The other week, though, it said that Man United pulled out of the race for Jude Bellingham. Jude Bellingham is expected to cost around 100 million. Jude Bellingham is at Borussia Dortmund. He's been at Borussia Dortmund since 2020. He's under contract with Dortmund till 2025. Dortmund got him from Birmingham for an initial fee of 25 million. At the time, became the most expensive 17-year-old in history. Frenkie de Jong is now a target for Erik ten Hag. Frenkie de Jong wants to move to Old Trafford in a stunning U-turn. Revert back to earlier on this year, Frenkie de Jong was Erik ten Hag's #1 target. Because it did mention that Erik ten Hag was keen on a reunion with Frenkie de Jong. You know, don't forget Erik ten Hag worked with Frenkie de Jong when he was at Ajax. Frenkie de Jong is now obviously at Barcelona. He's been at Barcelona since 2019. He's under contract with Barcelona until 2026. Barcelona got Frenkie de Jong for around 65 million from Ajax. He is a versatile midfielder. But, you know, if we are to get Bellingham and Frenkie de Jong, they're expected to cost around 200 million. Revert back to what I said the other day. Man United are willing to commit 200 million to sign Bellingham and De Jong. But it is not long now until the January transfer window opens. And the January transfer window will be Erik ten Hag's second transfer window as Man United manager. So far, Erik ten Hag's enjoyed one transfer window as Man United manager, and he's brought 6 additions to the squad. You know, he brought Tyrell Malacia in, Eriksen, Martinez, Casemiro, Antony and Martin Dubravka. Ten Hag has spent over 200 million so far as Manchester United manager. Let me put into the equation that Erik ten Hag has let players go as well. You know, we've seen a lot of players leave Manchester United this year. And certainly next year, Ten Hag is looking to get rid of more players. I think next year, Ten Hag will get rid of Dean Henderson permanently. He's out on loan with Forest at the moment. He's said to be doing well on his loan spell with Forest, but revert back to when Dean Henderson was at Man United. Most of the time he was behind De Gea, so he was second choice. I think there was one time when Dean Henderson got given that number 1 jersey. I think Ten Hag will get rid of Tom Heaton next year. You know, don't get in the team much. You know, Tom Heaton is Man United's third choice keeper, with obviously Man United getting Martin Dubravka in on loan from Newcastle. At the time Man United brought Tom Heaton in though, we brought him in as a backup to De Gea. Man United got him on a free transfer from Aston Villa. Ten Hag, I think we'll get rid of Telles permanently as well next year. He's out on loan with Sevilla at the moment. I think he'll also get rid of Bailly permanently. He'll get rid of Phil Jones because Phil Jones doesn't get in the team. Jones has been at United since the Ferguson era. I think he's the only outfield player that's still with us in the Ferguson era. Jones has enjoyed around 12 years at the club. His contract expires next year. As you all know, Harry Maguire has been told he can leave the club in January for the sake of his career. Well, Harry Maguire is not one of Man United's first choice centre-halves following the arrival of Martinez. Maguire will only now start games mostly when obviously Martinez and Varane and that are not available at this moment in time. Martinez and Varane are unavailable, so obviously now Maguire will come into the team. But Maguire is too inconsistent. You know, last season the vast majority of Man United fans were demanding for the captaincy to be taken off him. You know, Man United definitely overpaid for Maguire, got him for 80 million from Leicester back in 2019. And when Harry Maguire officially signed for the club, he signed a 6-year contract. He's had quite a lot of injuries as a United player as well. Aaron Wan-Bissaka, he's definitely on his way out of the club. Like I said yesterday, Fabrizio Romano provided us with an update. He said Man United are trying to find a solution to let Aaron Wan-Bissaka leave. So I think we're looking to loan Bissaka out. We've then an option to buy at the end of the loan or an obligation to buy. But I'm hearing West Ham are interested in signing Aaron Wan-Bissaka on loan. Wolves have inquired about him the other week. It said Wolves were leading the race. Leeds have been in for him. And Bissaka's been linked with a return to Crystal Palace. Well, Bissaka was at Crystal Palace before he came to Man United. Man United obviously got Aaron Wan-Bissaka in a deal worth 50 million from Crystal Palace back in 2019. Aaron Wan-Bissaka, when he officially signed for Man United, he signed a 5-year deal. So he's under contract with the club till 2024. For Man United, Aaron Wan-Bissaka has made 127 appearances and scored 2 goals. But Bissaka a while ago lost his place at right back to Diego Dalot. He'll come in the team now, will Bissaka, because Dalot's not available at the moment. He's out with a hamstring injury. As you all know, a few weeks ago it said that Erik ten Hag has decided to sell Fred. Well, as you all know, I've always had my strong reservations about Fred. And Fred's no longer one of Man United's first choice centre midfielders following the arrivals of Casemiro and Christian Eriksen. But despite that, you know, there's still been games this season where Fred started alongside the likes of Casemiro. I do recall him playing alongside Eriksen as well. Like I've just mentioned, Fred's contract's just been extended. He was into the final year of his deal. Man United got Fred from Shakhtar Donetsk back in 2018 in a deal worth 52 million. Ten Hag, I think he could possibly sell Anthony Martial next year. But there is a lot of Manchester United fans that would like to see Anthony Martial stay at the club. Martial hasn't played that many games so far this season because he has been hampered with injuries. Martial is under contract with Man United till 2024. Man United did get Martial from Monaco back in 2015. Don't forget, last season he was out on loan with Sevilla. Brandon Williams, I think he'll be leaving as well next year. He's another one that doesn't really get in the team. Well, he has featured in the last 2 games. You know, he played in the 1-0 defeat to Real Betis. He played in the 4-2 defeat to Cadiz. You know, that's only because the vast majority of the squad were at the World Cup. But Brandon Williams just come back from injury not so long ago. Last season was out on loan with Norwich. There's a good chance Tuanzebe will be departing the club as well next year. You know, he don't get in the team much. He's injured at the moment, not available for tonight's game against Burnley. Last season, Tuanzebe was out on loan with Villa. Well, he's enjoyed like 3 loan spells with Aston Villa. Not so long ago, I gave you the news regarding Marcus Rashford. Well, obviously now we have extended his contract, but not so long ago it said that PSG have been interested in signing Marcus Rashford. The PSG president confirmed that. You know, Man United slapped what? An 80 million price tag on Rashford. So there you go. But Erik ten Hag, you know, he's been the Man United manager now for what? A good 4, 5, 6 months. You know, he replaced Rangnick earlier on this year. Ten Hag is under contract with the club until 2025. He's Man United's 5th permanent manager since Ferguson. Earlier on this year, don't forget, Ten Hag got named Premier League Manager of the Month. I think he's doing a pretty good job as Man United manager. You know, there has been games this season where I've given him credit because I do like the way he's approached certain games. There has been games as well where he has, you know, got some decisions wrong, but I've still not once yet prejudged him. Ten Hag has lost his last 2 games. You know, he lost 2 games in just 3 days. But, you know, Ten Hag needs time. This is his first full season. And I said, you know, his expectations this season is to get Man United a top 4 finish. If he could win a trophy this season, that'd be even better because Man United have not won a domestic trophy since 2017. But revert back to when Ten Hag was at Ajax, like I've said so many times before, he did very well because he won Eredivisie titles like Dutch Cups. Back in 2019, guided Ajax to the semi-finals of the Champions League and, you know, developed the young players well. But, you know, the Premier League is totally different to the Dutch league, like I've mentioned before. Now, obviously, you know the news regarding the Glazers. Not so long ago, it said Avram Glazer said to have held talks with investors from Saudi and Qatar. Now, the Glazers have set an asking price of between 6 to 7 billion to sell Man United. The Glazers want to sell Man United this season. The clubs aim to be sold by spring, which is March time. So, Man United should have new owners by the end of the season. You know, like I said, we've got to get the Glazers out of the club because they've been a massive issue with the club for such a long time. And for such a long time, United fans have been protesting against the Glazers. The Glazers have owned Man United for what? 17 years. They purchased the club for around 790 million back in 2005. Not so long ago, it said that Amazon were interested in buying Manchester United. Amazon is an American multinational technology company. That's what it said. A few weeks ago, it said that Apple were interested in buying Man United. For quite some time, Sir Jim Ratcliffe's been interested in buying the club. A few weeks ago, it said Ortega were interested in buying Manchester United. So we shall see anyway. We've obviously got Mitchell van der Gag and Steve McLaren at the club. They're obviously who Eric Ten Hag recommended in. You've got John Murtaugh and Richard Arnold, Benny McCarthy. Earlier on this year, Ferguson came back to Man United in an advisory role. And obviously Eric Ten Hag is the Man United manager. As you all know, Manchester United do play Burnley tonight in the Carabao Cup 4th round. It is at Old Trafford. I've already given you my preview for the game. I give you my predictions, my predicted 11. Obviously, Man United progressed to the 4th round by beating Villa in the 3rd round 4-2. Obviously, the last time Man United played Burnley at Old Trafford, Man United won 3-1. But a couple of years ago, Burnley won at Old Trafford 2-0, and that was the first time Burnley had won at Old Trafford in like 58 years. As you all know, Man United do have players missing for tonight's game. There's no Martinez, there's no Varane, there's no Teden Mengi because he got stretched off in the 1-0 defeat to Real Betis. Jones is unlikely to play as well. There's no Diego Dalot, he's injured. There's no Tuanzebe, he's injured. Sancho, as far as I'm aware, is still unavailable. Not so long ago, Eric Ten Hag revealed that Jadon Sancho is not physically or mentally ready to play. Ten Hag said he's unsure when Jadon Sancho will make his Man United return. But I do believe tonight that Ten Hag will still field a pretty strong team. Burnley, as you all know, they're in the Championship. They're top of the Championship. There's a very good chance they'll be coming back up to the Premier League. And like I've said, I do know, some players at Burnley have gotten that. They've got the likes of Manuel Benson, Scott Twinney, Nathan Teller, Jay Rodriguez, who's good, Ashley Barnes, he's a key player for Burnley. Got Josh Brownhill, Jack Cork, Ashley Westwood, Matthew Lawton, Charlie Taylor, Connor Roberts. So yeah, they are quite a few players that Burnley do have. Let me put into the equation that they've lost players as well. They lost the likes of Ben Mee, James Tarkowski, Dwight McNeil, Nick Pope, You know, they lost Chris Wood as well. You know, he went to Newcastle from Burnley, and Chris Wood was actually good when he was at Burnley. You know, the Burnley manager is Vincent Kompany. He's been the Burnley manager for around 6 months. He got appointed in as the Burnley manager back in June this year. When he got officially appointed in, Vincent Kompany as the Burnley manager, he signed a 4 or 5 year deal. Vincent Kompany replaced Sean Dyche earlier on this year. Burnley decided to part ways with Sean Dyche, was it back in April? And he was a long-serving manager at Burnley with Sean Dyche. Vincent Kompany before, you know, Burnley, he obviously was the player manager at Anderlecht. And Man United's next game after Burnley is Nottingham Forest. So anyway guys, that's everything to update you with. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel if you do consider subscribe as always, and take care, God bless, and I'll see you all again very soon.